Left-wing means change and right-wing means conserve, correct? But doesn't everyone want to change the bad and preserve the good? Where does the left-right political spectrum even come from? In 1789, the French Revolution split France's National Assembly in two. Supporters of a new secular republic sat à gauche, or on the left of the assembly president, and supporters of the monarchy sat à droite, or on the right. 130 years later, during the Russian Revolution, Bolsheviks appropriated this left-right political spectrum to identify their egalitarian revolution with the French left, and the white movement with the French right. From 1916 to 1918, US journalists reported on these socialist factions using this framework. And this is how left-wing and right-wing entered the American English lexicon. Next, in 1919, US journalists adopted the unidirectional model to speak about socialist factions within the US. Then, in the 1920s, the terms left-wing, right-wing spilled out of emerging American third parties to describe divisions within the Republican and Democratic parties themselves. Progressive or left-wing members of each party supported higher income taxes, government-funded social programs, and federal economic oversight, while conservative or right-wing members desired less government intervention. But when did left-wing start meaning the entire Democratic Party? And what does it mean to be a liberal Democrat? The words liberal and conservative entered American political use during the Civil War. A classical liberal, as in England, originally referred to an advocate for free trade, limited government, and civil service reform, while conservative simply meant moderate. Democratic presidential candidate Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a 19th century-style liberal, originally campaigned on lowering federal spending. But after the Great Depression and the passage of the New Deal, the liberal Democrat FDR became the arbiter of activist, progressive government, much to the chagrin of traditional true liberal thinkers, like E.L. Godkin, who believed 20th century liberals shared too much in common with socialists. In response, writers like Peter Viereck, Russell Kirk, and William F. Buckley Jr. developed a new sense of and pride in conservatism as an identity and worldview, with a focus on free markets, small government, and the preservation of Western civilization against the revolutions of communism and the New Deal, a foil of imagined tradition to the reform and progress of the new Democratic Party. In the 1960s and 70s, progressive Supreme Court decisions Abington v. Schnepp, Engel v. Vitale, and Roe v. Wade inspired vitriol from heretofore dormant voters, like evangelical Christians. The Republican Party activated them by including new social positions like pro-life, rendering pro-choice a left-wing position for the first time. It is not principle that unites the US Democratic and Republican parties. It is partisanism and contempt for the other. Not essential truth, but social construction. Humans are fundamentally social creatures who seek connection and meaning. Maybe we anchor into a political group because our loved ones are a part of it, or because one party's view on a particular issue resonates, so we adopt its other stances, or because a charismatic ideologue confirms our bias. But no ideology logically connects any party's entire worldview. Just because my political opponent may be right about a particular issue doesn't mean that my entire political framework is wrong. It's not all or nothing. Ideological terms are not absolute, but socially designated. Right-wing George W. Bush increased government spending and passed the Patriot Act, expanding government surveillance. Left-wing Barack Obama deported over 3 million people and bombed at least 7 countries during his administration. Right-wing Donald Trump grew the national debt, imposed trade tariffs, and increased funding to government agencies like ICE. Left-wing Joe Biden built a part of the border wall and increased police funding. Yes, increased. And both right-wing Ronald Reagan and left-wing Bill Clinton believe in capitalism, a system that generates nothing but change. What is extreme left and far right depends on who is saying it, and when, and where. If we buy that American politics boils down to monism, left versus right, good versus evil, we lose the ability to recognize that no party has a monopoly on the truth. The weaponization of the left-right binary amplifies discord between seemingly irreconcilable ideological foundations. But the gag is, there is no left and right, as much as the body doesn't have 4 humors, and as much as the Earth isn't at the center of the universe. Partisan politics has been sufficient to animate nationalism for centuries without fundamental philosophies. Partisan leadership dictates group direction, And studies show party members are more likely to abandon principles than party. Hyrum and Verlan Lewis suggest we eschew vague ideological terms, like liberal and conservative, left and right, in favor of granular issue-specific terms. Say Republican instead of conservative. Say Democrat instead of liberal. Say pro-gun instead of right-wing. Say pro-choice instead of left-wing. We see this issue approach succeed in medicine and science, so why not politics? Linguistic precision helps us relate to one another's complexity, fostering more nuanced understanding between individuals who truly transcend the binary.